So many Etsy sellers tell me they feel stuck and overwhelmed. They're posting every day, listing new products, but no matter what they do, they can't seem to break $1,000 a month in profit. And there's no way they could go full-time on Etsy. Today, I'm breaking down the toxic traits that are quietly holding you back on Etsy in 2026. I'd call these the silent killers that most Etsy sellers are doing, and I see this in shops day after day after day. So let's kick it off with the first mistake that keeps sellers from scaling up. And this is when a seller tells me, I sell t-shirts or I sell mugs. Cool. But if your entire shop is built around one type of product, you're putting a cap and a ceiling on your income without even realizing it. How often does someone come back and buy a second mug from your shop? How many times per month does the same customer come back and buy more candles? The fix to this is creating depth and dimension in a dynamic product mix. So this means your shop has multiple things that someone can buy. They might buy a candle from you one month and then a t-shirt the next month and so forth. This means creating bundles, maybe higher ticket items. What you want to think about is your customer journey, not a one-off experience. Now, for the second toxic trait, let's talk about something that most sellers ignore because it feels confusing. And this is Pinterest. I always hear, oh, I tried Pinterest once and nothing really happened, so it doesn't work for my shop. But what if I told you that Pinterest is the most underrated long-term traffic strategy for Etsy in 2026? Pinterest is not like Instagram. Pinterest is not about going viral for 24 hours. A pin you post today can still bring you traffic 6 months or 6 years from now. I had a student who was posting daily on Pinterest for an entire year. After that, she was seeing 1.2 million monthly impressions on Pinterest. And it's not about being flashy, but really about having good SEO, the right Pinterest images, and consistency in your actions. And for me, I did this in my shop, and over 500,000 visits were coming from Pinterest. But remember, if what you were doing before didn't work, it either means you were doing the wrong things or you didn't do it for long enough. This is the next toxic trait. If you're only using 3 to 4 unique types of photos in your Etsy listings, you're basically throwing away free billboard space. Each photo is a chance to answer a customer's question before they have to ask it. What does this look like in real life? What size is it? How does it compare to similar items in your shop or in your listing? The more photos you have, the more buyers will trust you. It's not just about having 20 photos, because 20 of the same photos doesn't help you at all. It's about having different photos that answer different thoughts and questions. Now, this next toxic trait is going to ruffle some feathers, and this is white backgrounds on every single photo. Not it. This is not Amazon. Amazon, yes, they want you to have that clean background, but on Etsy, your buyer is not looking for that sterile Amazon image. So if you're, let's say, selling a candle, don't just show it on a white background. Maybe you show it lit. Maybe it's on a cozy nightstand or a coffee table, and this will allow you to connect with your customers. If you are having trouble getting some of those great images, you can actually take the photo with the white background, go into Kittle's Nano Banana feature, and it will give you incredible magazine-style editorial looking backgrounds. You don't even have to hire a photographer. You know what else keeps Etsy shops broke? Jumping on trends that you find on YouTube videos. Okay, by the time someone says this is trending currently, it is already way too late. Because on Etsy, you're entering a market that is crowded. Trend chasing on Etsy, that is going to make you reactive. But researching customer behavior and the trends that they are seeing, that makes you proactive. For this next toxic trait, we are going to talk about digital sellers who are selling photos just as photos. Buyers need utility. They need context. They want value. So if you just sell a photo JPEG of a mountain, could they have found that on Google Images? But that same photo, when placed into a printable calendar, that's a different story. You could add templates, add print sizes, add editable options. You could even do post-production to make it look like a watercolor image instead of the photo original. This increases the perceived value and allows you to raise your price. All right, now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the next toxic trait, and this is that your brand is not your color palette. Slapping dusty pink and sage green on everything does not mean you have a brand. Branding is about consistency of experience. Do your photos, your mock-ups, your titles, your overlays, your messaging, and your packaging, and your banner, does all of that feel like it's speaking to the same same person. Think about your color scheme like the wrapping paper. You might have like really fun rainbows and unicorn wrapping paper, but if the gift inside is a grandfather clock, that doesn't match the wrapping paper. Always make sure that there's a consistency with every element of your branding. Speaking of visuals, this next toxic trait is so common. This is using the exact same text overlay on every single product image. I know some of you watching this are doing that. And here's the problem. You don't know what's working. You can't optimize your shop if you're testing the same thing on every listing. Instead, switch it up. Try having maybe only 30% of your listings with text overlays. Try some text overlays that highlight a feature. Maybe another text overlay focuses on the size. Then what you want to do is watch your stats and watch your click-through rate, because that image is your hook and you always want to test these hooks. All right, now this next toxic trait is very important when it comes to AI photos. Simply don't do it. They look polished, they look attractive, the lighting is perfect, their skin looks amazing, their hair is beautiful, but they also look so fake because they are. And when buyers cannot trust what they're seeing, they don't want to buy it. So I always recommend when it comes to selling apparel, use real models. Even if it's your friend in your backyard, it's so worth it. Especially when the product itself, the t-shirt itself is AI, it's not even the real t-shirt, it will immediately lose trust with buyers. All right, this next toxic trait is choosing a niche and then waiting. Picking a niche does not guarantee there's a profitable customer behind that niche. So instead of picking a niche, like let's say it's dogs or dog owners, we want to be thinking about the specific type of customer we're selling to. There's some dog owners who go to Walmart and they buy the cheapest food they can find. And then there's dog owners who will order the chef gourmet dog food that is fresh, delivered to their doorstep every week. Those are two very different customers. So instead of picking a niche and waiting, you want to think about who you're building this for. Choose very specific types of customers who already spend a lot of money on that area of their life and sell to those specific segments of customers. All right, this next toxic trait is about fonts. So we all know that when creating designs, it looks more elevated to have a font pairing or a font duo. But trying to choose what those are yourself, it's really hard. So I always recommend go with Canva or Kittl for font pairings. They have designers putting these font pairings together and it will save you so much time and make things look 10 times better. But do not change the spacing. The spacing specifically is something you want to rely on those template font pairings for. Now here's a sneaky toxic trait that I want to call out because we've got to stop doing this to our customers. Having a sweatshirt listing and then slipping in a baby onesie into your variations so that it shows a cheaper price in search results. And your listing says, $9.99, but that sweatshirt is $42. This is not a pricing strategy. This is not a loss leader strategy. This is pure deception. And it hurts your conversion rate and people feel tricked. And it makes them more hesitant to click into your other listings. So always be upfront, lead with true pricing, use your variations clearly, and do not bait and switch your customers because trust is currency in 2026. All right, now this next toxic trait is if you are missing high-ticket products. If you have no high-ticket products in your shop, you are leaving money on the table. We don't want to sell a $1 item to 100 people. We would rather sell one $100 item to one person. A $150 bundle takes just as much effort to package and ship as three $15 orders. But the $150 order moves the needle and it's only one shipping cost. I remember I started my shop with like $50 to $75 products. And then when I added in $200 to $600 price points, my average sales each month went from like 15 to 25,000 to 30 to 50,000 per month really fast. So having premium options, bundles, larger sizes, maybe licensing offered, that will give customers a reason to spend more. And you'll work less and earn more. Now, this next toxic trait is all about what your plan is for the year. We have to stop pretending that what worked for us last year will work the same for us this year. Etsy changes, buyer habits shift, the algorithm evolves, and if you're still using the same listings and products and colors, you are falling behind. You've got to audit your shop. We have to review your photos and your mock-ups and your font options. And I work with lots of shops in my inner circle who are doing over $30,000 a month, all the way up to $200,000 a month and more. But the key is you will not stay at $100,000 a month if you do not keep evolving at the same pace as before. Approach this year, even if you've had some semblance of success, remember what got you here won't keep you here, and what got you here won't get you to the next level. So we've got to stay relevant. And now this final toxic trait, and this is a big one. This is having SEO that describes your product instead of the purpose and utility. For example, Blue PDF Planner, it doesn't speak to the outcome of what that planner will do for you, but instead consider these types of words: organizational planner, kids activity schedule tool, budgeting and saving planner. Now you're speaking to a real need and a pain point and a problem people are looking to solve. Write your SEO with the buyer in mind, not just the product. So that's it. 15 toxic traits that hold Etsy sellers back. And if you start fixing one of these toxic traits at a time, imagine where your shop could be 90 days from now. If this video helped you, hit the subscribe button. It tells the algorithm that this was worth your time. And if you liked this video, you're going to love my free workshops that I put on, and we'll put a QR code here for you to register for my next free training. And we give you resources and do giveaways on these trainings too. You can go ahead and click on the link or use the QR code, and I would love to see you there. All right, thanks guys.